How's that? Let's see if there's any sound as well. Let me just... Yes. So, we finished 6th last season. And we made it into the playoffs. We won the first leg. I'll show you for last season. So last season we were in League One. Had a pretty decent season. Had a bit of a lean spell here, but then we picked
Nice
up...
jump, Alistair.
Won a bunch of
Code2
games.
fan just resubbed for 11 months.
We won the first leg of the playoffs 1-0 against Ipswich, and then they absolutely smashed us at their place. So we didn't get promoted to the championship, but we weren't ready anyway, in all honesty. So now we're still in League One. We don't have much money. But we've signed some interesting players in the close season. We've got, let me see, who were the lads I think? We signed this lad, Nikolai Moller, young Swedish striker. Might be good. Quite a good all-rounder, good solid lad. We got this lad, Jay Turner-Cook, young English lad. All of the Premier League clubs released a ton of players this year. Harry Leonard, we got him on loan. He's costing quite a bit, but he looks quite good. We got this lad, Ben Woodburn. He was here last season. He did quite well. George Moncur is still here, still doing it. We had Cesc Fabregas for one season. One season. And he was decent. It wasn't great, but he was decent. We got this lad as one of my youth teamers that I promoted. Hoping that he does well. We got this lad on loan, Archie Gray, midfielder, looks decent. We got this lad in, Kamari Doyle, looks decent. Florent Hottie is still here. He's going to run his contract down for some reason. This is our young starlet that we're really hoping comes good. Might give him some minutes this year. Regan Hendry, we got this lad in. Looks like a nice, solid midfielder. Shadrach Ogie is still here. He's decent. We got Kian Best, youth teamer. We promoted him. Louis Jackson we got on loan from Man U. He's valued at 17 million quid. He's a very quick right back or centre back. Kofi Balmer, who I signed in the transfer window last season because our defence was porous at best. Tyler Magliori, another lad I signed simply because of his blinding pace. So he's not the best in terms of positioning, but if you're up against a fast striker, you put him on. He's quite handy. Omar Beckles, getting old now, not really doing it. Jarrell Kwanzaa, who I signed, one of Freeman's, looks like a decent young lad. He's 21. He's quite quick. He can tackle. Paul Apaya, centre back, another centre back. He might be all right. Quite a determined young man. Jordan Spence is still here. 34 now. His pace is completely gone, but he's fairly reliable. The first season we signed him in League Two, he really looked way, way above the standard of League Two. But now at 34 in League One, he's looking like he's not quite doing it. So yeah, a lot of these lads, it's like clubs in England release their players, and there are all these youth teamers who will hopefully get there. So I'm fairly hopeful. Oops, hang on, what's going on here? What's going on here? Nope. Here we go. I don't know what that was. Apologies. Farting around. So anyway, I'm looking at who we can get in on loan. Because we've actually already got some loanees, but these lads are worth a packet. Look at this guy, Sam Mather. 10 million quid. Elias Jalert. These lads are worth a packet. Why are they loaning them out? He only weighs 8 stone. He's absolutely tiny. 8 stone. Oh yeah, the Peeps. Peeps glasses cleaners. They're quite good. Ugh. No, Fabregas retired. He retired after 1 season with Leyton Orient. Imagine that. You've had this incredible career and you're like, just 1 more season. And he says to his agent, what have we got? It's a London club. Ooh, really? Yeah. East London club. They are up and coming. Okay. So, let me think. Who got promoted to the Premier League last season? Could it be? Is it QPR? Did they go up? No, not QPR, and they're West London. So think further east. Is it West Ham? They've been improving a bit lately. No. Think lower leagues. Not the Premier League. No. I don't know. Someone in the Championship, Birmingham, or I don't know, Blackburn. Something like no. A little bit further down than that. Who is it? It's Leyton Orient. Are they a league club? Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the oldest league clubs in the world. Actually, they're still going. So you're telling me that I've played for Barcelona, Arsenal,
nice jump, Alistair.
Chelsea,
Woodstove just resubbed for 75 months.
and Leyton
Up the
Orient. Yep. But you know, they're going to pay you $1,000 a week. Better than nothing. Yeah, he came on a dime as well. Let's have a look. He did just retire. So he went Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, Monaco, Como in Italy and Serie B. Then he went to Karabag FK in Azerbaijan. Played 14 games there. Then he came to the O's. 20 grand. 20 grand, and we got him, and he was all right. Needed a body. I needed a cover for Moncur. Someone who could come in for George Moncur when he was injured, or come on for him when he was tired, and basically fill a hole as a creative passer of the ball. He did score some nice goals. 4 beautiful goals, like long range curlers. But yeah, it wasn't like he was great. I was kind of hoping that he would be able to sit there and just dictate the play, but he couldn't. I did get offered a interview with Derby, Bristol City, and Wickham, and I turned down Bristol City. Wickham, who were in the Championship, are just not a club that I have any interest in. I've been to Wickham, and their stadium was weird because it had like 3 quite normal stadium sides and then 1 lower side, and you could just see countryside behind it. It felt like you were playing in the middle of a field somewhere. And it's just like the most boring, nondescript place you could imagine, Wickham. It's like nothing going on there. So I turned that down. Bristol City was tempting, but I didn't see it as a big enough move. They did have a lovely big ground, but I just didn't fancy it. I wanted a complete change. I wanted to move north rather than just west. So we went for the Derby job. They interviewed us. Interview went well, but they went with Kenny Jackett, a more familiar name, which is fair enough. So we're here at Leyton still. It was a decent last season. I holidayed for a little bit of it because I just couldn't be bothered to slog through all of it. We were in mid-table, and I was like, well, this is just going to be one of those seasons. Like mid-table in League One. You know what I mean? It's just like so many games, and so many of them are just like boring, dull games, scrappy goal or a penalty or something. It's just dull. And then I came back from holiday and we made a run for the playoffs, and we made it. Got a little bit of extra money, but not much. Would have liked to get to Wembley just for the Skrilla, but we couldn't do it. This is now season 3. We did win League 2 with 100 points, or just over, maybe 101 points. Absolutely stormed it. So we finished first with 100 points and a plus 51 goal difference in League 2. Way too good for that division. Absolutely crushed it. And that was after coming back from the National League. Look at that. That's where we've been. So they had 3 seasons where it was just mediocre, and then boing, 100 points. Then last season, 6th and 76 points, and only a plus 13 goal difference. Let me tell you something. We had Soonstrup Bell from Chelsea on loan. Lad scored a lot of goals. But obviously the problem with the loan players is you get them in, you have a good season with them, and they might even get you promoted. But then you have to replace them next year, and it's just kind of tough. It is kind of tough. God, we only need to register half our squad. Look at that. We have to add 2 more players. We have some money, but I don't really know what we need. That's quite a big squad as it is. Florent Hoti's fallen off massively, by the way. I'm enjoying FM23. I think it's really, really good. It's the match engine is genuinely much more interesting than last year. It's quite subtle differences, but the goals, there seems to be the capacity for slightly random stuff to happen. They've improved it. They genuinely have improved it. I've noticed a few things that have just sort of, I was like, oh, that was nice, you know, sort of some of the fuck ups. There was one where the goalie came out, kicked the ball, it hit the defender in front of him, bounced over the keeper's head, and my striker ran through and scored. And I was like, that was nice. Just a few things where I was like, the ball's like bobbling around in the box and people like scuffing it and it's bouncing off people. And also I noticed the balls can hit stuff and just bounce in a weird loop, and the player's like struggling to get it and it falls, and you're like trying to bundle it in and stuff. It's quite, it just feels a bit more like watching a real League One football sometimes. Like it really did. And some nice goals as well. Your strikers do seem to be slightly better at their through on goal, and they sort of tuck it under the keeper, you know, like proper little finishes and things. But yeah, it's good. Loads of people talking about Mastodon, but it looks too different from Twitter, and I don't really understand it. Stoke away. They've got such a big ground. It's actually ridiculous. I mean, I was just looking at all the mad things that Elon's been doing. So in summary, I don't know if he was joking when he said he was going to buy Twitter, but when he said he was going to do it, they held him to it. They were like, well, you can't just announce that you're going to buy Twitter because that's affecting the share price and blah, blah, blah. So you can't do that. And he was like, oh, so as far as I understand it, then you can't just dilly-dally and tease people that you intend to... What's the problem here? Okay. So then he goes ahead and buys it. Because he had to. And he comes in and he decides that the big issue on Twitter is it's not making money, which is fair enough. So he buys it. He's like, it's not making any money. What's the one way it can make money? And he decides that the best thing to do is to charge people for the blue check marks. Now, for a guy who was active on Twitter and a guy who was supposedly a tech genius, I have to say, I think it's one of the worst takes I've ever seen. I think it's the quickest way to dismantle what made Twitter exist in the first place, was that you could connect with celebrities, people of note, politicians, journalists, scientists, authors, whatever, and you knew that when they were tweeting, that was the real account, that was them tweeting, and you could respond to them, and sometimes they would like your tweet or respond to you. I know people get a kick out of that, right? Like people, wow, Ricky Gervais liked my tweet. Sips was very pleased to find out the other day. And if you give anyone a check mark, you then have the problem with, like he said, comedy is back on Twitter, as if check marks and checks and balances on stopping people posting racist shit was somehow anti-comedy. Either way, that's the road he went down. All right, Florent, you're out of here, buddy.
Nice jump, Alistair.
So he's like, I'm going to
anyone
can have a check
resubbed for 22 months, almost 2 years already. Looking forward to the JJ Rust RP.
I would if I were you, because it's going to be a banger this year. So anyone that would be verified previously is not going to pay $8 to stay verified. None of those famous people are going to pay $8, not because they can't afford $8, but because it suddenly changes what that check mark means. It's no longer a status symbol for some people, or a marker for people. This is the actual person, and they're obviously someone of some note or whatever. You now have to pay, right? Or anyone can pay. So instantly, the status symbol is gone. It's now worthless. And he said it was going to be $20. Then he changed it to $8. And then he said anyone can have it, and we're not going to punish people for having parody accounts like the Nintendo of America one with a verification badge because they paid $8, tweeting a picture of Mario giving people the finger. So he said, okay, now you have to put parody in your bio. And then that didn't do anything. So then he changed it to you have to have parody in your name. So Nintendo of America parody. And he backtracked. There was a bunch of other things he backtracked on where he said this is the case. He then said, this is something I saw people saying, that he basically said you now have to do 40 hours in the office every week, and if you can't, you can hit the road. And a bunch of people, because Twitter had a you can work anywhere thing, had left, right? They weren't living anywhere near the offices. And now they need to be in the offices, so they just quit. So a ton of people that worked for the company doing a whole bunch of things are no longer at the company. There's two different kinds of check marks. So I thought that there was the blue tick and there was another grey one. Right? Like, I thought there was another grey one that said verified or something like that. Official. So either way, very strange. So he basically lost all of these. My favorite part of the work in the office thing is in his statement he thinks he will personally review every request to work from home. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. I mean, to give you an idea of someone else on Twitter who's been very pro working in the office, it's Alan Sugar. He said anyone working from home isn't actually working. Right? Very old-fashioned mindset, I think. Genuinely. Very old man. And Elon Musk, he's been tweeting for the last couple of weeks constantly, and responding to things that didn't even at him. Like, there was no at Elon. It's just he's just jumping in and like putting emotes down there and posting these jokes every day. Like, what on earth? Dad, like, not even like ironic dad joke bad. Like, you can't just do this and your big turn up is I'm gonna post bad jokes. I think it's funny, because it looks like you actually don't know what's funny. It represents a lack of a sense of humor. Like, this isn't so bad it's funny, or you haven't already got a reputation as someone who, like Tim Vine, right? Tim Vine is known for making terrible jokes. That's his whole thing. You can't just turn up as Elon Musk, shareholder of a big company, and be like, lol, it's a bad joke and I did it on purpose, guys. It's just dreadful. It's dreadful. I think he's like my age. Maybe he's slightly older. I think he might be 48. Maybe he's 51. Yeah, he's 51. So he's only a little bit older than me. Either way, he's just so strange. The new look Leyton Orient. Look at their stadium. Look at their stadium. It's beautiful. Got rid of a whole bunch of players, unfortunately. Some just weren't good enough. Ole! Archie Gray, a debut goal. Look at our fans. Yes! That's another thing I really like this year. Midfielders scoring goals. It's good to see. Like, the players are playing in the pocket and stuff actually get into the box and score goals. Keep working hard until full time, lads, alright? No stopping, no letting up. Shit the bed. That was poor from you, Apaya. It's a good ball for Cullen. That's shit. That is dog shit. Jesus. Free header. Come on, boys. Come on, lads, you got 10 minutes. 10 minutes to change it. All right. All right. Can we pinch something here? That'd be special, eh? Come on, one last chance. Damn. Well, you tried, lads. You did try. They're a very big side, and it's a tough ask coming away to Stoke on a wet and windy Saturday morning, afternoon. I don't know. I think it's hard to criticize the players that he's chosen because, for one thing, there's a core group there of guys who've played together, played in a semi-final, played in a final, played against some of the best teams. I think it's hard to say to Gareth Southgate, you should have left all of these lads behind that played in the final for you 2 years ago. I also think that quite often people think that the way a player's playing at their club is going to mean the way they play for England. So when you're playing really well for your club and you go to the World Cup and you don't perform, they're like, oh yeah, maybe the nerves got to him. Well, he just didn't have a good tournament. Which is weird because he was so good for his club. But the same could happen in reverse. You might not be doing great for your club, but you always turn up for your country. Some people are just different. You know, what motivates them, what switches them on. It's different. So I think it's hard to write off even someone like Harry Maguire for that. I just think we should give them a chance. I trust Gareth Southgate. I mean, the guy's he's been doing it. Are you in the youth team? I'm not loaning you out because I actually need you. Yeah, Pickford's a prime example. Just someone who is playing very well for his country. Well, what a pointless meeting. I just wanted to ask why you replaced me as captain. Because I think George is going to be a better captain. Oh, fair enough. What, do you think I was doing it out of spite? I agree, Robbo. Like, I think if we're going to have three at the back, you can't... It's got to be... There needs to be Walker in there because he's like the pace man, right? He's the cover. And he's strong and quick. And you need that. You know... I mean, my mates were like, why are we taking 3 underperforming centre-backs and putting them on the team instead of just having 2? But the way I see it, one of them might do it. You know what I mean? One of them might do well. Portsmouth. Callum Wilson in the England squad. It's like some real football manager shit. He's been before, isn't he? But I think he's never been capped. Has he? Maybe in a friendly? Case in point, Jamsky. Case in point. Oh. Oh. Cullen. I thought the live Triforce was fun. A Mang! His first goal for 18 matches. Yes. Yes, indeed. Well, I don't think Sips are going to be able to make it down at Christmas, unfortunately. Blam! G-Goat, that seems to be the way. Score a goal. Southgate shits his pants. Brings on 3 defensive substitutes. And then they score, and then we bring on another attacking substitute, score a goal, and then cling on. Well done, lads. That was good. Appeared positively chuffed. You know what? You lot are fucking spoiled. I will say that. England make a semi-final and a final. And everyone's still like, well, bloody Southgate. Well, we don't know he's doing a super team. Super players. We're never happy. We are never happy. We didn't even go to the World Cup in '94. We routinely got out of our group and went out in the very next round. Got out of our group, beat the next team, went to the next team. They were some South American team, lost on penalties. There's a reason the last World Cup that when we beat Colombia on penalties, I was crying my fucking eyes out. Because we finally won a penalty shootout and a knockout match against a team that we could... And that was such a stressful game, my God. And we've been down on ourselves every World Cup since. 2004, what a dog shit fucking tournament that was. That was the Euros, wasn't it? Euro 2004. Fucking dog. All these golden generation bollocks, then we just looked absolute gash. Anyone remember Gerrard's back pass in that game against France where Zidane scored that penalty where he puked first? At one point, Steven Gerrard turned from midfield and sent a huge looping back pass back to the keeper. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen anyone do in an England shirt. It was bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. Playing against Germany, when they were their dog shit striker, what was his name? Fucking hell. Not Carsten Janker. He was old and slow, and he made us look like clowns. We have Matthew Upson at centre-back. Matthew fucking Upson at centre-back. Frank Lampard scored a worldie that they didn't count. This is closer. Frank Lampard scored an incredible goal. It went like a yard behind the line. They didn't give it. They're like, nah, because it was pre-goal line technology. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Why is he ineligible? Already involved in another match on the same day. Why are these lads... Who are they playing for? But I don't want him to play for the under-21s. And it doesn't... I don't want him to do it. Don't do it. How can I stop him doing that? He's not in the team. Right, how do I get him off this? I don't want him available. I don't want him available. Oh, is it here? Okay. Alright, we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Because that young lad, that young midfielder, he's meant to be the bee's knees, so I want to see what he's like. I want to get a look at him. Oh, hell of an effort. Alright, thank you, Reese. I'll try that. I'm going to come out, I'm going to be a bit more positive. Cullen, yeah! Great ball from the right back there. Look at it, he waits, Make a run, Cullen sees it, yeah, there's the gap. Cullen straight in, lovely first touch. Thinks it over the keeper. Top goal. Now, where's the left back I just took off? A 1-0 classic. Yeah, it's always good to get that first win of the season. Obviously, disappointing against Stoke, losing 3-2, but a good solid win. I thought the defence were excellent today. Building up, obviously we brought a lot of new players in, young guys, you know, and Stoke was a bit of a cauldron to be chucked into for your first game for the club. But I think this is a good professional win. Showed them, you know, they looked like experienced footballers out there. They saw the game out, defended very well. We had a good chance and we took it, and that's football, you know. 1-0 or 10-0, it doesn't matter. It's still 3 points at the end of the day. And it was a good game. First half, I thought we were in control. Second half, we had a look at them, came out and played a bit more football, and got the victory. So very happy, very happy. Well, at least the gaffer's pleased. Always good to beat the scum in Reading as well. So apparently the official badge is back? I don't know. I don't even care. Honestly, I'm just using Twitter as if nothing's happened. Just tweeting the same dumb shit. Tweeting about in the stream. Liking tweets I like. I'm not going to move to Mastodon. I mean, I just don't know what to make of it. It's like spaces and stuff like that. It seems much more complicated. I understand you can... I mean, we could basically set up a community, a Mastodon channel or something like that. It's all spaces, isn't it? Like you create spaces. I don't know, it seems odd. Like you have to, it's all open source, so there's no one server or one set of servers, not owned by anybody. It's just an open source thing. I don't even know what it looks like, in all honesty. Let's have a look. I mean, when I go to the Mastodon website, explore. So it looks like Twitter. Here, look at this. These posts from this and other servers in the decentralized network are getting traction on the server right now. So these are people I recognize some of these names as people I follow. Gargron and all the top Mastodon instances need to start preparing for the idea that Twitter itself is on a relative fast shoot to bankruptcy. Bomb. Need midterm plans for how the top instances can scale dramatically on hardware stat and streamline onboarding of new users choosing instances to spread the user load. So I think this is, you can join spaces, mastodon.social, mastodon.ar.al, so it's almost like a throwback to the days when it was like groups. Not even IRC. What were they called? It was like alt dot something dot something. It was like it wasn't IRC. Yeah, it was something like news groups, something like that. Maybe Mrs. F will know. Love, do you remember back in the 90s, instead of like Twitter and those kind of things, you could join groups and they would have names like alt.movies.something. Your brother was big on it. What was that called? It wasn't IRC, it was something else, because it was like a message board, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was. It was kind of like that. Like you'd join channels and stuff like that, and you'd post, and people could respond. I can't remember what it was bloody called. Usenet? Yeah? Might have been Usenet. Yeah, it was. I think it was Usenet. I think you're right. Oh, get in there, Muller. The young Swede rising like a Baltic salmon. Oh, Ninjald, I'm just talking. I'm not saying we should go back to Usenet. Like, Twitter gets a lot of shit, but any big platform's going to get a lot of shit. And I'll be honest with you, I really like Twitter. I spend a lot of time on it. I think it's really funny. There are some fucking hilarious accounts on there, some really interesting accounts, really good threads. I do hate when journalists just make an article which is just tweets. That annoys me. But, you know, that's not fucking Twitter's fault. Moncur with a great ball through to Muller. Oh, the keeper does well there. Oh, also, one of the things I saw in the engine was two players, like, grappling with each other. And the ref didn't give it as a foul. It was shocking. We got to win that. Can't be giving them that. Good ball. Woodburn, do something useful this game or you're getting subbed. Cullen continues his run of goal scoring. Oh, is he offside? I don't see a flag up. Great ball. Well done, Gray. Good finish as well. Let's see what the young lad can do. Msimuko. Oh, Gray squandered that. It's pronounced Meowler. Terrible. That's just a terrible ball. What was that? Muller, that's no good, son. That's just the folly of youth. Well done, boys. Well done. Good win. No, I think they must have got relegated. So they got relegated in the first season. Minus 22 goal difference. Then they finished 10th in League One. That's when they approached me. And they're currently 17th. Why Orient? I was just looking around for a Division 2 club. A League 2 club, I should say. And I thought, why not? Not a big club. Small ground, old team, like the kits, London club. Why not? Why not, eh? I guess Derby County also got knocked down here, eh? Nope, they started in League One. Gosh, forgot they were in League One. Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah, they're still here, knocking about. How have they been doing? Mid to 4th, 8th, 4th. Good lord. So they've made the playoffs twice and fucked it up both times. I'm sure Stoke must have been in the Championship fairly recently, eh? They got relegated in the first season. Rock bottom. 34 points minus 32 goal difference. They only finished 14th last season. Good lord. If Stoke come a knock-in, what do we do? What do we say? QPR and the Burnley in the Championship. Who else is in the Championship? Sunderland are in the Championship and doing well. Forest back in the Championship, of course. No one unexpected there, really. Fuck off. Norwich have made it back up there. I wish I could see the league table from each season. Is that a thing I can do? So Man City have won it 4 years in a row. Good God. Stages. Oh, okay. So Hull, Forest and Burnley went down last season. So Hull, Forest, Burnley went down. Who came up? So Burnley, QPR and... one of these. Oh, sorry. No. Palace, Southampton, Brighton. Wow, Palace. Whew. So last season, City won it by 4 points. Liverpool second, Man U, Spurs in fourth, a distant fourth. Previous season, Southampton, Palace, Brighton all went down. City won it by 11 points. Liverpool and Arsenal all in there. Man U finished 7th. Must be weird to be a club that bounces around between the Championship and the Premier League. Well, I mean, Bournemouth have done that of late. We were in the Championship for a couple of seasons, I think. Maybe 2 seasons. Went up as champions. Stayed up for 5 seasons. Got relegated. Spent 2 seasons in the Championship. Now we're back up. It is a bit odd. It's an odd feeling. Norwich is a classic for that. There are a bunch of clubs that do that all the time. I always think of clubs like Birmingham, Reading. I mean, all the Championship sort of stalwarts. Watford, Fulham. So when you look at these clubs, Burnley are back in the Championship in this. But when I think of QPR, Birmingham, Sunderland, Watford, Swansea, Blackburn, West Brom.
Nice jump, Alistair.
Cardiff,
Tom_B5 just resubbed for 37 months.
Thank you. Clubs that have been in the Premier League fairly recently, you know. It is a bit mad. Thank you for sub. Whereas, I mean, like Bournemouth for a long time, we were the longest serving League One club. We were just fucking there forever. Yeah. Yeah, Michu, that one season, right? Looked amazing. Scored so many good goals and then just vanished. I wonder where he ended up. He went back to Spain, didn't he? He's 36. He retired in 2017. He went to Swansea. He was at Swansea for 3 years. Scored 20 goals in 52 games. On 20th of July, 2012, Michu signed a 3-year contract with Swansea for £2 million. Following the departure of Gylfi Sigurdsson, the club was looking for someone to fill the gap behind the striker in their 4-2-3-1
Nice jump,
formation.
Alistair.
Dirk Squat Thrust just resubbed for 4 months.
Thank you. He was given the number 9 shirt upon his transfer and subsequently began featuring as a striker. On his league debut, he scored twice and provided an assist in a 5-0 victory. First of his goals was also the first scored in the new top flight season, and he later described his debut as incredible. He stayed atop the goal scoring charts, netting the second in a 3-0 home defeat of West Ham, second in a 2-2 draw against Sunderland. He scored his first FA Cup goal. He signed a new 4-year contract in 2013. He scored the second in a 5-0 victory over Bradford. In what was his 19th official goal of the campaign, he was subsequently named the team's player of the year as well as supporters player of the year. Michu scored Swansea's first goal of the new season in the club's 4-0 home win against Malmö for the 3rd qualifying round of the UEFA Europa League. That's how well it was going for Swansea. They were in Europe. On July 2014, however, he went on loan to Napoli with the option of a permanent move. Made his debut for his new team on the 31st of August. Injury meant he only played 6 matches for the Italians. And having not appeared for Swansea since April 2014, he was released through a financial settlement with his contract due to expire in the following summer. And then after leaving Swansea, he went to Asturian Amateurs, UP Langreo, a Spanish football team based in Langreo in the autonomous community of Asturias. And then he went to Oviedo for 1 year. And then he retired at the age of 31. I wonder why. Maybe he got injured. Yeah, Papis Cisse. I think Ibrahim Demba Ba also sort of fit the bill as a player who seemed to be doing good things and then just stopped. I think if you see a player with like 13 or 14 passing, that's really good for League One, I think. I think anyone with 10s and 11s and stuff is okay. Like if you get anyone with green attributes like finishing or pace or whatever, you're gonna fucking crush it. Man, Cullen is a goal machine. Man, that's a shame. I mean, Demba Ba. Oh, there's a door. Hold on. Piece of paper on the floor in the classroom, and nobody owned up or knew how it got. It's Friday for this. Mr. Worldy from Archie Gray. We'll wind back. How good are we talking? We'll have a look. We'll have a look at it. Oof. Well on Hendry. You need the loans in lower league. Like, you've just got to have them. Like, that's how you get out of the division, by having a few players that are too good for it. It's very hard. Like, I hate it because I'd love to be able to just stick on some youth teamer who's like amazing, but you've got to have the loans. I hate the number of loans there are in Italy. Like, teams apparently just loaning players to each other all the time. And part ownership, like split ownership. You get him 1 year, I get him the next year, shit like that. It's crazy. God, this is looking dog shit, boys. Yes, George! You don't let George Moncur loose in the penalty box for that long. Oh! Yes, Mazimuko! Lovely little trip. Priest! Clean through! Dreadful effort. Olay! For loan tips, for me, I just do a player search, and I look for players who are willing to come, and then I look at the most expensive players at the biggest clubs. They tend to be the ones with the best youth teamers. Just grab a bunch of them. Any of them with, like, you'll get youth teamers playing for Premier League sides who have, like, decent pace or really good passing. Like, the rest of them is mediocre. They're never going to make it in the Premier League. But in League One, if you have, like, 20 passing or whatever, you're going to pass your way out of the division easily in an upward trajectory. If you have a guy with like 18 pace in this league, it makes such a big difference because so few players have pace. There are very few strikers in League One that have like 17, 18 pace. In the Premier League, they fucking all seem to, right? I like that. Hell of a ball for George. Oh! The older players are too expensive. What you want is young players from a big club where they don't need the money and they just want them to get match experience. And sometimes you'll have to pay their wages quite a bit. It's expensive, but they prefer loaning them to championship clubs, but you can get some. This one? We'll have a look at it. Alright, that was a cracker. So Demba Ba, right? Rouen, Mouscron, 1899 Hoffenheim, West Ham, 2011. After the collapsed Stoke deal, Barr was sold to West Ham for an undisclosed fee based on appearances. Signed a 3-year contract on a pay-as-you-play basis due to knee problems found in the Stoke medical. Barr's Premier League debut came on the 6th of February as a 75th minute substitute for Robbie Keane. God, I forgot Robbie Keane played for West Ham. His first goals followed 6 days later. Despite finishing as their top scorer with 7 from 12, including 2 in the last game, Barr's stay with West Ham proved to be short. Following their relegation after a 3-2 loss away to Wigan, he invoked a release clause. He turned down a 50 grand a week salary plus a bonus payment of 500,000 in order to stay in the Premier League with another club, triggering interest from both Everton and Newcastle. God, who didn't Robbie Keane play for? Alright, which Italian club, without looking it up, which Italian club did Robbie Keane play for? And they nicknamed him Baby Irish. Which Italian club did Robbie Keane play for, where they nicknamed him Little Irish? It was Inter Milan, or Internazionale as they should be known. Although on Wikipedia they're listed as Inter Milan. He was at Wolves. I remember him at Wolves. He was very good. Coventry, back when Coventry were in the Premier League. Went to Inter. He was signed for 13 million quid, signing a 5-year deal. However, his dream move to Italy soured when Marcello Lippi was sacked, and Marco Tardelli didn't like him and shipped him out on loan to Leeds. He only made 14 appearances for Inter in all competitions, scoring 3 goals. His most memorable coming 2 minutes into the Supercoppa Italiana match against Lazio. So there you go. They barely used him. And then he went to Leeds permanently, only scored 4 goals. Then he went to Spurs. Probably, I would say the club he's best known for being at was Spurs. 200 appearances and 80 goals. He went to Liverpool. He was there for 1 season. Anyone remember Robbie Keane at Liverpool? 19 appearances, 5 goals. You could easily forget. 6 weeks. So yeah, he apparently didn't do very well. And they sold him for 12 million. 7 million less than Liverpool had paid for him. That was Liverpool back in the day. Sign a player for 19 million, sell him for 12 to the same club. Then he went back to Spurs for 12 million. Then they loaned him to Celtic. Then they loaned him to West Ham. And then he went to LA Galaxy. And while he was at LA Galaxy, they loaned him to Villa for 2 months until the new MLS season began. Then he came back from loan, played for them, and then he went to 80K in the Indian Super League, joining former teammate Teddy Sheringham, the team's head coach. He suffered an Achilles injury in pre-season and had to return home. He was out till December. He scored his first goal in a 1-0 victory against Delhi Dynamos. Then he became player manager after Sheringham and Ashley Westwood was sacked, with 80K finishing outside the playoffs. He scored the only goal in a 1-0 win over Northeast United on his managerial debut, enough to save them from last place. Wow. And then he retired. Gosh, how about that? Wait, did you say he's Morrissey's cousin? He's Morrissey's cousin. I had no idea. Alright, I'll be back later anyway. So I was going to stream this morning up until Triforce, but I kind of thought I'll finish the season because I thought it was going to be a mediocre season. But I'll be back this evening. I'll be back at 8. I hope you guys can join me then. And I think I'm streaming all day tomorrow because everybody's going out. So I basically got like the whole fucking day. So we'll just cane it through and do tons of streaming. I hope you guys can join me for that. Cheers for watching. Take it easy and peace out.